Hello, today I would like to address our annual street program and go over with you some of the work being done this summer. There are two types of street projects. The first is reconstruction, complete reconstruction. Here in Mundelein, we have miles of streets that do not have curbs or gutters, stormwater sewer systems, and the drainage is very poor on these streets, and they've been around for decades and decades, and they need to be completely reconstructed. Typically when this happens for roads like that, they will lay brand new utilities, most in particular new water mains. And then they will come through and take the whole street down to the dirt, just take all the asphalt away, and then begin from scratch building a new stormwater system, putting in curbs, cutting in kind of new driveways for people at the very big entrances to their driveways, and all new complete streets, sometimes putting in sidewalks as well. And so for those, I'm going to show you a little map here, well, a couple maps showing you the list of streets being reconstructed this year, including Arbor Court, Greenwood, Wildwood, and then on the south side, to the south, we have South Street, Oakdale Ridge, and Crane. Now, those that are highlighted in gold, we were able to do this year because the board approved a utility tax that allowed us to be able to spend, instead of $3.5 to $4 million or more, we're able to spend over $4 million, going to $5 million or more. It's quite a bit of money, all of that utility tax being allocated to just the street program. And so that enabled us to do these streets here in gold: South, Oakdale, Ridge, and Crane. Let me show you a few pictures I pulled from Google Maps showing Oakdale, what it looked like last fall. Of course, it's being worked on right now. But you'll see here on Oakdale that there are no sidewalks. Indeed, the drainage is very poor. It's very haphazard on roads like this. And what happens is the water pools and everything in the street begins to fail very rapidly, a complete failure all the way down to the base. And so again, work on this type of street will mean removing all of this and cutting in brand new curbs, new water mains, new stormwater systems, and everything. Here's another picture of, this one's on Wildwood to the north. In this case, you could see there are sidewalks, but this will result, but this one will have a whole new street, new curbs, and stormwater systems installed as well. Let's go to the second type of street project that we do. This is resurfacing. Resurfacing. Now, in this case, we have roads in Mundelein where the development was built well over 20 years ago. There's existing curbs, storm sewers, and everything. It's just that the asphalt is really, really old. Very, very old. And so in that case, what we do is we come in and scrape off that top layer of asphalt and then basically just replace it. And oftentimes there's some curb work that needs to be done, new curbs cut in or repaired here and there, but it's a much less costly of a way to address our streets when we're just simply resurfacing and not rebuilding. And for just a fraction of the money, we can do a lot of streets as opposed to complete reconstruction. Here's a list of streets being resurfaced here in the summer of 2022. There's a number of them that you could see, adding up to well over 1.5 miles of resurfaced roads all over town. Here's a picture of Hillside. This is a collector street kind of coming off of Midlothian, and this is typical for these types of projects where you'll see existing curbs and sidewalks, and the development is well over 20 years old, you know, sometimes far more than that. But you could see that the pavement here is in dire need of replacement, and in this case they'll come through and scrape that off and simply replace it. Now you might be asking, well, my own street is kind of looking pretty shabby. How can I get it put on the list of streets that are going to be taken care of here in the ensuing few years coming up? And the answer is it's very difficult to do because our Public Works grades all the streets in Mundelein in terms of the need for street repair, reconstruction, or repaving. And that's the primary movement as to whether that street gets addressed or not. Now, you're certainly free to email me or the trustees or Public Works and just to help put the street on the radar. But believe me, when I tell you that our Public Works Department is all over this, and at the end of the day, it comes down to what streets need to be prioritized over others in terms of their condition and impact to the community. But the best news is that over time, we are going to do all this reconstruction work on the streets that don't have curbs, gutters, storm sewers, etc. And as we complete those, that'll allocate our annual budget for resurfacing so that we can do one day in the future miles of resurfacing every year. And that's really where we want to be, is all that reconstruction money going to resurfacing. And we can really start seeing some fast improvements all over town that way. And the light is at the end of the tunnel in that regard. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope you have found this informative. Thank you.